Well, good evening all, and welcome along to the Stuttgart German Masters. If you've been with us throughout the day, welcome back. If you're just tuning in, it's a very good evening and a very, very warm welcome here on this fabulous Friday of sport. And what a big night we get to bring you with both five-star jumping and the opening drive for the FEI Driving World Cup. It begins with the first of the two jumping classes. The prize of iVest is the world ranking competition, Fulton time. That is what is about to get underway. 30,000 euros in the prize fund. And then, after the driving, a little later tonight, 10:15 here, we will have the Stuttgart German Masters. 12 will qualify for that 100,000 euro prize fund. It is a massive class tonight. And the 12 qualify via a point system, which ultimately comes from this class and the class that we saw yesterday. So we'll see how that evolves, but ultimately I'm just going to concentrate on this one. We're going to see who is going to come out on top. Stefan Eder, the first to go. It is with Condado for Austria. 13-year-old gelding by Contendero out of a lifestyle mare for the Austrian Challenge. What a two in this class, and this is a man that has represented Austria at 3 European Championships and a World Games, but today he's the first to come across the DW Bank or the BW Bank wall, and hasn't really caused too many issues, but he's the second combination I've seen over the last 3 days to have stopped at that. Comes as a bit of a surprise early on in this track. One round of jumping, Fulton time. Christa Jung, a course designer, alongside Louis Konix and Ralf Hollenbach. And 13 obstacles, 15 jumping efforts. Time allowed, which now will become relevant, 74 seconds. And we've got a total of 45 to come forward in this opening five-star class. Tricky little plank there at 8, then they come round the corner here 9. Of course, the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup fence, that famous round, the 5th leg of the season for the Western European League here, the big class on Sunday afternoon. And into this line down the bottom of the arena, right in front of us, as we look down. Single stride. 4 strides down and over 13 to finish. So, of course, the time penalties tick on up in the modern sport, as it is 1 for every commenced second. And with that stop, the jumping penalties added in as well. But mostly time for Stefan Eder there with Condaro as the first to go. Just going back and having a little look at that wall. Doesn't want to be surprised again, because I'm sure it will appear over the course of the weekend. 2 superb days of sport ahead of us, but this Friday night already halfway through this show that has been sorely missed on the calendar over the last couple of years. Now it is Ireland. Ireland have been having a great day. The earlier 5-star class went the way of Jessica Burke, and then Ireland 1 and 2 in the ponies. Now Dennis Lynch, he had a lovely young horse here earlier. This, though, the very established Brooklyn Heights, for the very established Irishman who played his role in ensuring Ireland's qualification from the World Championships to go to Paris with that brilliant team performance. This horse, owned by Molly Ostrom, has been one of his top rides. It's the gelding by Nabab-Darev out of a For Pleasure mare. World number 23 on those Longines rankings. Had a very good win last week in Verona. Just playing with its head a little bit coming around the corner. 7 on the curb from 8 to 9. Back to 10. 6 strides up to 11, then round into this final line. Quite a long stretch after quite a short distance in the double with the 2 offset water trays, and it did catch him out in the middle. Took him to water. The Lily Pond sat at the end of the arena there. You don't want to go any further, Dennis. That'll be for the driving in a little while. It is a total of 8:69:38 on the clock for Dennis Lynch and Brooklyn Heights. Very early stages, but already it's shown that it's going to take a little bit of jumping out there. Oh, he caught it behind, barely touched it. Well, Germany with plenty of talent in the draw and plenty of support in the stands on home soil. It is one of, if not the biggest indoor blue ribbon events for the sport here in Germany. Richard Vogel and Caraccio, the 10-year-old stallion by Casirano out of a Quick Star mare. The first of the challengers for Germany. Fabulous runner results in Italy. Went to San Giovanni, the tour there in October. Had 8 wins. He's certainly been in a very strong position. Had a great run last month. Interesting with the double-to-double coming there. Of course, you've got the 3 doubles in the course tonight. No combination of 6 strides on the curve between the 2 of them. Tricky little plank, got to be careful. Then again, that curving line, 7 strides, round they come. Another curving line, parallel to parallel over the roses. Just left himself a little bit to do, but jumped it well, and he is still clear. Time is 74 seconds. He's going to get quite close to that time allowed. But he's going to be in, and he's going to give us the first of the clears. 72-79. There is the standard. It is set. And Richard Vogel and Caraccio for Germany really wake this audience up if they needed it, really. To be fair, they've been in fabulous form every day. And that is the first of the clears in this 5-star class 30,000 euro faults in time competition. So now we know what it is the others must do. Now we stay with Germany. Jana Fredrika Meyer-Zinnemann and Messi van der Rusterhoff. A gelding by Plot Blue out of a For Pleasure mare. Jana, who a successful member of German teams at the World Championships in 2010 and the Europeans in 2011 when she was on the gold medal winning teams. She also rode at the Olympics in London in 2012. More recently, went to Helsinki, finished third in the World Cup round. Then headed down to Spain, jumping in Oliva Nova before heading home to jump in Stuttgart. Comes very tight off that corner, this two-stride double. It's quite a stretch coming out. And as you can see, you've really got to sit back and hold. Otherwise you end up on top of that parallel. Single strided double at 6A and B. Careful on the 4 strides from 7 to 8. Then you've got that curved line. And again, not wanting to waste any time, keeping things as tight as she can. Again, just having to take a little bit of the pace out, sitting the horse back. Oh dear. Just found herself in a little bit of trouble there. She realised quite early on that she was going to have to make a circle, and that is unfortunate because she was heading to be in the second clear, and then right at the end of the course it all turns around, it all changes around, and then you're on a score of 14. Unfortunately there, Jana Fredrika Meyer-Zinnemann then 83.61, 74 seconds of time allowed, so of course the score goes up. It looked quite calm, quite confident until that point. Well, here is the next to go. Impressive young jockey for Germany. This is Joris Flair riding Hot Easy. It's a 10-year-old mare by Andiamo Z. Had a very good win in a big 4-star Grand Prix in Warsaw. She's another that's been down in Italy, in San Giovanni, had some wins there just recently. Jumping well. She kept up a really nice rhythm as well in this. That's currently set the standard. You can see the differences ticking away in the bottom right-hand corner, and at the moment she's going to perhaps just get there. Oh, she does. 72.67. There is your new leader. Very, very good round of jumping. Joris Flair and Hot Easy take over at the top. 72.67. Now leading the way as Germany 1, Germany 2, and both clear, the only clears at the moment. But that really did come down to a very small margin between them, because we're only talking what, tenth of a second, well, if we're being generous. Well, there are some super talents here with us in Stuttgart, and we have with us 13 of the world's top 30 riders, 3 of the world's top 4, including the world number 1. This man is world number 4 on the Longines rankings as it stands. Riding for the Netherlands, of course, Harry Schmolders. And this is Bingo de Park, the 11-year-old, gelding by my Lord Carthago, out of a Diamante Samelli mare that has been a very strong member of his stable. Harry recently second in the Grand Prix on the Global Tour in Riyadh. He part of the team adding to his medal collection with that silver medal at the World Championships this year. Not wasting any time. Look at that, coming inside back to the parallel. Those lines just keeping the riders from pushing on too much, and then they know there's plenty more big jumps ahead of them, so just having to be very careful that they keep the rhythm they're jumping tonight. Big set of fences. It's a height of 155. And now this looks good. Tight lines, well ridden, and very, very efficient. And now we see the time drop under that 70-second barrier, 69.25. The world number 4 shows just what needs to be done. He never really looked like he was having to rush, but it was moments like that turn back to 7 where he was so composed in the way he's able to ride the turn, the fabulous control he's got with Bingo de Park. And then up and over that last he goes, and into the lead. So the Netherlands now on top. It is such a great setting, this arena, and now another of the sport's greats to grace us. It is Marcus Enning, and this is the Plot Blue gelding Priam de Rosset, another that has made his mark so successfully on the sport with gold medals at every major championship level. Part of the German team. He's ridden some amazing horses in his career, and of course a man that knows exactly what it's like to win the Longines FEI World Cup final as well. Now he elects to go round, just playing it a little bit safer. Big horse, big stride, it does cover the ground. It's not quite going to be on Harry Schmolders' pace, but he could yet get second. It'll all come down to where the clock stops, or it's a little bit slower. In fact, it'll go into fourth, 73.46, just behind those 2 riders that are so tight together on 72 seconds. So Marcus Enning, again, Germany with another rider right up there. It may well be the Dutch that are leading, but it's Germany second, third and fourth, and 4 clears we now have in this €30,000 Fulton time competition here at the Stuttgart German Masters. Having to play it a little bit sensible, of course, wanting to make sure they put themselves in a strong position to maybe get into the German Masters, the Stuttgart German Masters here later tonight. So now for Belgium, Olivier Philipparts. This is Mr. Idle S, the 10-year-old stallion by Plot Blue. Used to ride that great stallion Darko. Plot Blue, of course, was ridden by Marcus Enning. This man, son of Ludo, part of the fabulous dynasty of show jumpers in Belgium, of the Philipparts family. Third last week in Maastricht in the Grand Prix. Oof, tight, too tight. Knew he was never, ever going to be able to get out. Of course, you land too short like he did there, and then you leave yourself with just too much to do. Perhaps be one thing if you were jumping out over an upright, but when you've got a big stretch like that over the parallel to get out of, he just decided that tonight was not the night to be taking that level of risk. So 4 faults, and perhaps some time faults coming his way. Time beginning to tick up for Olivier Philipparts. That stop became costly, just made the decision to come in a little bit too tight. I mean, it is tight. In fact, when you see the camera angle that they give us from that end of the arena, you can get a really good concept of how fast that fence does come off the corner. I mean, it was taking a little bit of a gamble, trying to come in even tighter. Not tonight. Not tonight for the man from Belgium there. Total of 15. Well, next up, it is for the USA, Elise Oken riding Galvira. US riders looking good in the class a little earlier today. This mare is 11 years old by quality time. Very smooth round of jumping so far. Now this turn back to the roses. Still clear. Round to this final line. Tricky double. Ooh, and it's caught her out going in, and it's caught her out going out. Now she's really had to push to the last. Well, time as well. So we've got a couple of time faults, 75, 1, 2, just over the 74. So 2 for time, 8 for jumping, total of 10. Elise Oken had looked good until the end. And in a round of jumping in a competition where time is ultimately the deciding factor, the time allowed is still there to catch them out as well. It's very much part of the test nowadays in this sport, as we're all aware, but it's certainly keeping them on their toes. Well, yesterday evening, this man was quite brilliant. He won the Table C. It is not Elise Oken, it is Philippe Weishout. There we have it, CHE Fantastica. This for Germany. Philippe, who won the Table C here yesterday evening to give himself the best possible chance of qualification for that German Masters, which we will see here this evening. Riding with this Ludger Beerbohm Stables 13-year-old mare by check-in 2. Out of a Pablo mare. He's had some tremendous results in recent months. The second place in that Grand Prix in Valkenswaard for the global round, but also he took the win in the 5-star AA Grand Prix in July as well with Kobe. Concentrating, not quite fast enough for the lead, but that you'd hope and be pretty confident was a round that was designed to be good enough to go through to tonight. So 73.23 is the time on the clock. He is clear and in to the top four, just a little bit faster than Marcus Enning. Of course, Marcus finished second last night in this equivalent class. So those two just playing the percentage game a little bit, just keeping their powder dry enough that they didn't make any mistakes. They didn't want to find themselves tumbling too far down. And just wanting to make sure they're there or thereabouts to ensure they've got themselves through. Well, next up for Brazil, Francisco Jose Mesquita Musa. Catch Me Marathon, the 14-year-old mare by Contaggio out of a Where for the Mare. Francisco proving yesterday just how quick he was. I mean, nobody was faster than he was, but he had two down. And that, of course, with a seconds out of competition makes all the difference. So it's an if, it's a but, it's a maybe, but he was quick. And if he can replicate that sort of pace or with a clear tonight, well, we'll see what happens. He's had a very good run recently in Morocco, in Rabat, and that wonderful tour that took place over the past few weeks. Had a couple of wins there prior to that in Barcelona, jumping for Brazil at the Longines FEI Nations Cup final. And already showing commitment at pace, and he's gone for it, getting out, but he was... yeah, it couldn't quite reach. It's a real quandary when you come around that corner, because if you do come too tight, you just don't give yourself the space, the room, the distance, and it makes it very hard to get out over that parallel. He nearly got there, he just gave it a little bit of a rub, but it is down and 4 is scored. Well, despite a tap at the last, he keeps it on the 4. 67.96 is the final time. Again, showing enough pace to lead. Again, having a fence down, putting paid to his chance. So 67.96 was his time. The leading time of Harry Schmulder, 69.52. It'll all come right at some point for Francisco. Just hasn't quite yet here in Stuttgart. But Harry Schmulder's been got a park leading the way, 69.52. Jorge Freire in second. Richard Vogel in third. Next up, Germany once more. Pierre here with PB Shakuni. Jaco Blue. Out of a Can-Am mare. This is a 12-year-old mare. Yeah, who's also been down in Italy of late. Top 5 in the Ascona Grand Prix this year in Switzerland. Rode that line well, shortened up where she needed to. It's a horse of a big frame and just needs to make sure she keeps that impulsion, yet at the same time just gives the space. Lovely jump up. Oh, and that 7 strides just catching her out on the curve. Into the final line, single stride, a double, 4 strides to the final fence, and still on 4. In on the clock, and 72.65, but 4 faults there for Pia and PB Shakrini. So still just at the moment 5 combinations that have jumped it clear. And sort of an unusual fence. It wasn't a fence we'd seen fall until now, actually, just tripping it a little bit in front. But so far, the fences that have gone, it's been relatively different fences in different places. So full marks to the course designer. Now we have for Italy our next to go, Lorenzo De Luca. The 12-year-old stallion by Casal is Curcuma Il Plazetto, out of the Lord Mare for the Italian, ranked inside the world's top 50. Had a very good win in Verona, first and third in 2 of the classes there. Impressive this season as well, his performance at those World Championships in Herning. He's certainly living dangerously with those front rails. He's rattled 2 in a row. Now he's just sat the horse back a little bit, steadied up, coming in to this final line. In fact, the clock is also just going to bring up a time fault or 2, 75.81. It's 2. Lorenzo De Luca leaving the fences standing, and the crowd certainly applauding that. 2 faults the score. Best of the rest outside of the clears then, and into 6th place as he looks up at that big screen to just get a little idea of perhaps some of the replays. Again, goes back to the fact if you just take a little bit too much time in a few of the places, and it's not, you've got to be careful because there's sort of quite related lines when you think about the way it goes. 1, 2, 3, or 5 to 6, or 7, 8, 9. Again, once you're on to those distances, there's not a huge amount you can do, so it does come down to the turns. And again, it's the turns where you need to really push on, try and make up as much time as you can. Wilbur Helmstrom now looking to make up a little bit of time here for Sweden with Cottini von Hoff. Super jockey. It's had several Nations Cup performances for the Swedes this year in Division 1 and jumped at the final as well in Barcelona. Was in the top 6 in the World Cup round in Aquita Lyon a couple of weeks ago. Skipping around the corner a little. Still clear. Again, the horse just sort of keeps backing up at her, just jumping a little bit as they come round the corner, and every time you do that you're just losing a second here, a second there, and well, 3 the score, 76.83 the time. Despite the clears, we still ended up with 1 on 2 and now 1 on 3 before you get into those full fault rounds. I've had another Hellstrom there for Sweden, leaving the fences standing, but time faults just catching him. Still then, it is Harry Schmolders that leads the way with Bingo de Park ahead of Vera Trier and Richard Vogel, the 1, 2 and 3. There's a big cheer in this arena. I wonder why. Mikkel Jung is why. What a show he's already had here in Stuttgart. He won the eventing in the most phenomenal way here on Wednesday night. Of course, This is the absolute legend of the world of eventing. And then in the 5-star classes yesterday with this horse, Fishka Chelsea, put in a brilliant round to win the second class. It's a horse that he's had for quite some time, very experienced at this level, this mare by check-in 2. And he is one of the all-round greats in the saddle, multi-disciplined. But he really enjoys his show jumping alongside his eventing. You start to wonder just how close he can get to Harry Schmolders' time here. Well, it becomes irrelevant. Final line, catching him, and look at that clock. He was faster by nearly a second. 68-67, Mikael Jung showing he had the pace. He just didn't have the luck coming down over that double at 12A, and then of course that final fence 13, unlucky for him, also going down, and a 8-fault score putting him out of play after that win yesterday afternoon. But it means still nothing changes, but it proves again that the time of Harry Schmolders is a beatable round. But can it be beaten with the fences staying standing? I have a feeling it can. I wouldn't think Harry even would think he's safe at the moment, but he does lead Harry Schmolders as now Great Britain. This is the turn of Jack Whitaker and Scantalita, the mare by Hunter Skendrix. Jackie was in winning form in the indoor 5-star event in Oslo, went very well in Verona as well last week. Again, just turn tight, give yourself trouble at the second part of that double. Trouble is you don't turn tight. Well, the horse just having a little bit of a misstep there as he goes to take off, and Jack's actually decided to pull out of going to the next fence. Cantarita there, I have a feeling, has retired. I was going to say, not his night. Little Pat, maybe tomorrow. So bad luck to Jack Whitaker. Great to see them back, enjoying themselves as so many are. As we move on to the world number 2, the current Longines FEI Jumping World Cup champion, won in Leipzig this year, to add to his very strong list of accomplishments in this sport. Individual European champion of 2019, and then when defending it he took the silver medal individually in 2021, but was on that Swiss team that dominated and took the gold. He tonight wants to be back in that German Masters, not only to compete for the prize tonight, but to defend a title that he still currently holds, having not been here for 2020 or 2021. The last running in 2019 was won by Martin Fuchs. Here he is, this time with Commissar Pezzi, showing a lot of faith in this 9-year-old. That leading time is under threat here until you see a pole fall. Maybe the curse of the commentator, but either way, it's Martin that falls foul of the first part of that final line. So disappointment for him, and Commissar Pethy, as the full faults, putting him down the order, goes into ninth place, 70.66. Again, time-wise, time is good enough for second place, but the full faults pushing him down the order, unfortunately, there for the world number 2. But will he have done enough to get himself through to that Stuttgart German Masters class that comes here later this evening, the big class of the night, the 12 riders that will compete in that jump-off class for that prize money and very, very famous title. Talking of famous titles, this man won one of the most famous in the sport with this horse back in the summer when he won the Grand Prix in Aachen. It's Gerrit Nieberg now for Germany, here with Ben. And that is so disappointing, and just something you don't often see with these two. Gerrit, who was third last night in the Table C, will be hoping that that is still enough points to get him into the 12 that go through here tonight to the Masters. Jumped the double well. Jumped the last fence well. And in on the clock, 73.80. So it is just the pain of that one fence falling right back at the start. And what a long run it was after that for Gerrit Nieberg and for Ben to still finish, though, on a score of 4. And as I say, now he'll just be hoping third place yesterday evening turns in to a top 12 across the two classes and through to the German Masters. Now the turn of our next, and it's with Belgium once more. Vermeer, DM Jack Mott, the gelding by Toulon out of an Doctromare. Back into the doubles. Horse with stunning scope, makes it easy out, easy in, jumps out again, drops in, coming tight. But got the control to hold and then go again. Just let the horse lengthen out a little bit. Final line has caught out plenty of stars already this evening. The clock is ticking down. Oof, gets away with a tiny little roll on the pole. But he's jumped the last clear. Is he quick enough? Yes, he is. He's done it. 69.36. Brilliant performance. Certainly rode his luck coming down that final line. He really did give that middle round of the second part of the double a roll. But that was the sort of form we saw from Vermeer when we were in Aachen. He had 3 wins there. So it is a new leading time here tonight. 69.36. Getting closer to that halfway point and the break, but at the moment 69.36 is what leads. There's a lot of jumping left here. And now from Belgium leading, it is to Germany. Marie Legres riding here with Corvado L, the 10-year-old gelding by Cornet Ablensky. Some good performances this year, but now the pace just up that little. But they've got to be so careful. Out of the double, still with just the 4. What a shame for that one fence, because it's had plenty to jump and go right, although that line again just showing how tricky it is. Of course, you got the in-gate right there beside the final fence as well, all things to distract you. 76.52 just over on the clock. So it is a total of 11 for Marie Igles and Corvado L. And therefore Willem Vermeer holding on to the top spot. 69.36 versus 69.52. That is the top 2 times. Willem Vermeer leading, Harry Schmolders in second, then Hannes Freer sitting in 3rd place. It is Belgium, the Netherlands and Germany. Now another super talent for the Dutch. Next up, well, number 19. Another part of that silver medal winning team alongside, in fact, Harry Schmolders. It is Jeffreeling. This horse is Chambertino Z, the 10-year-old stallion by Chamberton. Had another very accomplished year, has year. Recently jumped very well in both the World Cup rounds in Verona and in Lyon. At the moment, of course, he sits in 2nd place on that Western European League table, heading into the 5th leg here on Sunday afternoon, and he'll be one of the contenders looking to try and put his name on that trophy. It's going to be very interesting, because the last 2 years the Longines FEI World Cup was run here in Stuttgart, 2018-2019. They were both won by Peter de Vos. Peter, of course, is not here this week, so it'll be somebody new maybe. That little run will end, but yeah, Vreeling looking right here, right now, to make sure he's part of the Stuttgart German Masters tonight. And, well, Vermeer's time is under threat again, is it? I'm not sure. Oh, and that upright causing more and more trouble. Well, time-wise, 71.72 would have been good enough for 3rd, but a fence falls. I mean, it's a lovely, it's just a great camera angle, the way you can just look down it like that, and you think about it. You got the water trays side to side, a little bit of distraction just to draw the eye. Just the 3 poles. It's very gappy, very open, and it's certainly up against the edge of that arena as well. And the arena getting busier and busier, I notice here tonight. Just drifted a little bit on the right-hand side. So next up to France, back up those world rankings even higher now to the Longines world number 10, Kevin Stahl. Tonight with Emir de Moraes Harcourt, the 8-year-old gelding by Elvent du Barry. Kevin, who has got some beautiful young horses. I'm not going to say young, he's got some good young horses, but he's got some lovely horses that are really now stepping up, getting better and better at this level. Really redressed his team in so many ways over the year. And this is a very good round so far. Just, again though, younger horse just playing it sensible. Doesn't want to turn up too tight to the parallel. There's questions you can ask and questions you can't. And again, 69 seconds. Oof. It looks doable. But then the double plays its part again. Will he get there on the clock? 69.36 was the time to beat. He somehow would have put himself in between the top two had the fence not fallen. Kevin Stau, though, falls down the order with that fence and only as high as 10th place. Wow, it is certainly tense. That final fence, those double. Look at it right up towards the top of the wings there and just drawing them in. And we've seen more often to not the first part go down. This time, unfortunately for Kevin Stau, it was the second part that went down. Still, Vermeer leading the way for Belgium. Harry Schmolders, Jonas Sveer, the 1, 2, 3. 1 to go before we take a little break. And that will be for Ireland, I believe, unless something's changed. I believe we should still have one more, and then we'll be back with the run to the finish. Total of 45 coming forward. We've only seen 22 so far, so when you pick out some of the names as well, still to come, there's plenty of talent in the draw. Down the list, just having a little look there, and you've got Stig Dat, Daniel Duyse, Jules Thomas, Harry Charles in there, Max Kuhner. There's a lot of very strong riders, and of course plenty for Germany, who will have lots of support. Well, at the moment then, let's just refresh the order while we wait to find out what is exactly happening. I don't know if we're going to go into the arena break early or if Jessica Burke, of course, who's already had a win today, is going to come. Jessica Burke is going to come into the ring. Here she is. A winner already today. Took the honours in the opening 5-star class. Now, though, with Nike HH, the 9-year-old Belgian warm blood. Chasing 69.36. It's been a very good day for the Irish so far. Is that likely to continue? But of Vermeer, Harry Schmolders, the 1 and 2. Hanne Sveer in third. Now Jessica Burke. Done everything right so far. Again, though, just playing a little bit sensible. Horse just playing with its head a little bit in places. Doesn't seem to affect her still. Background now to the big rose fence. Just off that leading pace, but she'll be aware of just how careful she needs to be. Jumps in and out of the double absolutely beautifully. Now jump the last, and the clock stops. Oh, time 75.51. She was just having to be a little bit careful in some places. Quite understandable. The 9-year-old mare still learning, still gaining experience at this level, and she just wanted to play sensible and certainly got all the scope. With Jess riding, we know they'll be quick if and when on the days they need to be, but today she just didn't find the need to go into that top gear. Well, the top gear at the moment has been found by Vermeer. He leads at the break. We're halfway through. Harry Schmolders is second, and Jonas Sveer is in third. It is Belgium, the Netherlands, and Germany. Return in a moment or two with the second half of the draw here in the first of the 5-star classes, this €30,000 Fulton time. Also to come tonight, the opening drive, the pre-qualifier for the FEI Driving World Cup, and that €100,000 Stuttgart German Masters. Well, the floor is refreshed and re-readied, and I hope you are too, because still a long way to go in this €30,000 five-star jumping competition on this fabulous Friday night. It is that Friday feeling for us all here in Stuttgart. And now the second half. Try to chase down Belgium's Vermeer, 69.36 with the clear, leading from Harry Schmolders, Johannes Freer for Germany in third. Then Richard Vogel, Philip Weishout, Marcus Enning, the top six. This class competition key as well to those that are looking to qualify for the Stuttgart German Masters tonight. Well, now Japan's Aikan Sato, Wichanensky Jairei, the 13-year-old gelding, the Japanese star, part of the Japanese contingent at their home games in Tokyo last year. He rode also in the games in Hong Kong, Beijing in 2008, and again on the World Championship team this year in herding. Saw him jumping last week in Maastricht. He went well in Helsinki. Horse just having a little something to say, quite lively. Little buck and a flick, but no real concern. The only thing he's just going to need to worry about is that time allowed, even leaving the fences up. But he knows that he's just trying to get the horse moving forward and just needs to be careful he doesn't unbalance things too much, because when you give a kick like that, you are asking the horse to change gear, and he just can't quite settle down. And it's just that level of finesse, that balance, that communication that can sometimes just go a little awry then, and there you have it, time faults on top. So 76.05, time allowed set at 74 seconds, 1 for 1. Commence seconds over, and 4 faults for the fence down, so 7 it is. Aikan Sato for Japan. So the top of the board remains unaffected. Certainly a horse that's got the scope. The crowd certainly filing in as well. After this, it is the pre-qualifier for the FEI Driving World Cup. The drivers looking to fly, and then as well we've got on that big jumping class as well. Philipp Schüssel top off, very talented young jockey here for Germany, the winner of the World Cup round in A Coruña in Spain, northern Spain last year, qualified in for his first ever Longines FEI Jumping World Cup final in Leipzig this year. This horse is Clemens Delonde, it's a gelding by Comme il faut. Well, what a shame he had that fence. Won't be the first, if I remember rightly. I struggled a little bit coming out of that double. So little room off the turn. Jumped the final double well, now jumps the final fence well. He has just gone over as well, the clock 75.04. So Philippe there finishing on a total of 6 faults, 2 for time, 4 for jumping with Clemens Delonde. We have another little look back. He got all the way over to the left hand side, turning in tight, and you can see there again, when you come tight, it just doesn't quite work. 2 or 3 have tried it. Olivier Philippart bailed out midway through the double because he realised he was never going to get there. Jack Whittaker tried, couldn't quite get to the back rail, but neither could Philip. This, though, is the turn of Cyprus's Alexis Tharis now. The horse is Quandra Vengo, 10-year-old gelding by Quadros 3. Rode originally for South Africa until the start of this year, and she rode for them at the World Games in France in Normandy in 2014. Recently been in Olivenova and then up to Risenbeck. Still clear over the roses. Speak too soon. That curving distance, the 6 strides. To the end, and there we have it. It's a total of 7. Again, time just playing a small part, but Alexis Theis there. Her ride this evening, the 10-year-old Quandrovengo. Waiting to see who is going to really go to chase Vermeer at the top of the order. There's plenty, I think, that will try still to come, but just watching some of the replays here. Big fences, 155 this evening. Watching on. And here is the next to go. One of the most accomplished riders in the sport, Stuttgart, the Olympic champion from London 2012, multiple winner of the Longines FEI World Cup final as well, and for so long was world number 1. This horse, Albert Friends Maddox, the gelding by Cobria. Now he's turned tight, but that is a horse, even with all of that horse's ability, and this is a horse that has jumped some of the biggest courses in the world, even they struggle to get out over that double. It is a quandary, it is a test, and it's tempting them in because they know what they need to do, and if they can get away with it, they'll save themselves 2 or 3 seconds, and that could make a huge difference. Sometimes discretion, just the better course of valor. Well, 72.34 and a score of 4. The time otherwise would have gone 3rd, but that fence going down changes that quite considerably because it's 11 places lower. 14th, unfortunately, for Stuttgart. What a shame. Full marks for trying. He always was going to. And there we have it. It isn't to be for Stuttgart. Crowd are warming up for this man, though. It's the turn of Daniel Deusser. This for Germany with Bingo Erstehelmel, the 11-year-old stallion by number 1 Derisso out of a Diamant de Sameli mare. What a year it has been yet again for Daniel. Of course, started the year off with that brilliant win in the Grand Prix in Sertogenbosch. Went very well in Aachen. He won the Grand Prix in Spruce. Had a very good 3-star Grand Prix win on home soil at the Stefex Masters in Brussels. And then, of course, September was a real month because he then went to New York to the Longines Global Champions Tour and he won the Grand Prix there as well on Governor's Island. And that is a horse with some ability. That was absolutely sensational. Athletic. Brilliant jumping. He's done what others have tried. But he's just had to rebalance things a little bit coming round the corner. Bingo, full of elasticity, full of spring. A little yo-yo going up and down. He's still having to think between the fences. He just doesn't want to take the handbrake off and let this horse run, because he knows when you get round this corner how careful, how controlled he was going to need to be. And the pain and penalty of that double has caught another of the superstars out in this sport. 71.42 is the final time on the clock. Again, would have seen him into the top three, but unfortunately for the Double D, Daniel Deusser, it is a score of 8 here. What a class this is. It really keeps you on the edge of your seat, because you just don't know where, how, if, when the problems may or may not come, and can they do it, can they not? But look at the ability that Bingo does have. Really picking up. But I think you could just tell Daniel just being so careful at points on that course not to have too many problems when he got to the final line, but even then it was too much. But now Belgium once more, and what a superstar this young man is, and what a year Gilles Thomas has had from that first ever 5-star Grand Prix win at Hickstead when he won the Longines King George V Gold Cup. He then had a very, very strong win in London at the Global Champions Tour, and it has sort of kept rolling for him, really. Part of the team for Belgium at the FEI, the Longines FEI Nations Cup final in Barcelona. Still strong where he comes to these final fences. He jumps the first and the second with ease. Time not for the lead, but he is on the clock in terms of the time allowed, and he is clear. 73.49 for Gilles Thomas, the young star from Belgium. Another that has certainly found his way up and up through those Longines World Rankings this year. I think world number 23. And he's into the top 7 here this evening. So a good performance. 73.49 his final time. Now, this is the USA's Spencer Smith. Another very, very strong partnership. Theodore Machrines, the gelding by Kashmir van Tuterhof out of a power-like mare. And moving on, we've been busy on the Global Champions Tour. Had a real run of shows going backwards from Riyadh, before that New York, Rome, Valkenswaard. He was on the team for the USA in Dublin. And he means business. He knows how careful he needs to be, but at the moment he's done nothing wrong. And you can see there the body, the angle, he dips the body, just opens the reins up a little bit, lets the horse run, and then of course you can always just it just lulls you into that perhaps full sense of security when you get to a fence like that, parallel in the middle. He jumped the final line as well as anybody, and look at the time, 65.76. He was some 3 seconds faster than the leader. I mean, it'll give all the others hope. He got the turn in as well there. Look at that jump out. Theodore looking quite brilliant. But he just ran into the problem. The fence before that one on the replay, it was the Roses. And you could see how he opened the rein out and he just pushed the horse a little bit, and just maybe just finding himself flattening a little bit then when he got to the fence that followed. What a shame. So close for Spencer Smith, but it isn't to be. But now Germany once more. Marcel Marchal riding here with Coolio. It's an experienced gelding by Kashmir Van... sorry, I take that back. It's the 9-year-old gelding we're looking at here. This is by Calistio out of a contender mare. Pops in and out of the double. That 4-stride distance to the plank tonight hasn't caused any trouble at all. Fourth, beautiful jump over the rose fence, giving these fencers plenty of clearance. Careful, oh dear. Again, that double puts pay to another. And the chance of a clear, well, to turn in before he got to the lily pond as well at the end. So 72.90. Marcel Marchal there for Germany, with Coolio also finishing with that 1 fence down, that 4-fault score, and still Van Vermeer for Belgium is leading the way. Harry Schmolders sitting in second. Hane Sriet for Germany is in third. Germany at the moment, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Because Richard Vogel, Philip Weishaupt and Marcus Enning are sat there in 5th and 6th, and I have to say Philip Weishaupt and Marcus Enning, after 1st and 2nd last night, are looking assured of a place at the moment in the Masters tonight. Now, this young man was in the difficult spot last night of having to go first. He was fast, unfortunately 1 down, put pay to his challenge, but Harry Charles for Great Britain has done the same again, and that is 1 down at the first. So disappointment for him. His focus, I'm sure, will quickly switch towards what is to come over the next few days. And tonight here with Billabong de Romes, the 11-year-old gelding by Manuel Carthago, for this young man that has become part of a medal-winning team this year. A little shake of the head, I think. The disappointment of the first fence going down. He would have had high hopes. Found his way to third last time out in the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Series in Verona. I mean, it's a quick round. Harry very naturally fast over the fences, jumped the last line. Beautifully done. And again, are we going to see a quicker time than the leader? 66. Yes, we are. Much quicker than the leader. They know how to do it. And of all the fences for Harry to have down, heartbreak that it is the first. Just drags it down behind. What a shame. Like last night, he had the pace in abundance, and look at the power, because he was a long way off that parallel coming out of the double. What a partnership. But it is not to be, and still Belgium lead. Next up, another Dutch challenge, Willem Greve this time with Grand Dorado TN NOP, the 11-year-old stallion by Eldorado van der Schuysser. Little kick and a flick. Willem, who had that brilliant win in the Grand Prix in Leeuwarden this year, also on the winning Nations Cup team in Rotterdam. He's jumped on a few different Nations Cup teams for the Dutch. Lovely big scopy jumper though, Grand Dorado. quite on the pace of the leaders, but still on a clear. And still clear with just this final fence to jump. Will they get in on the time? They might just pick up a time fault here. They have won 74.68. You leave the fences up. Realistically, he's done as best he can. He's gone into 8th place. I'll remind you, we've got a couple of riders that came earlier on that left the fences up, picked up time. You can think back, Jessica Burke on 2, as is Lorenzo De Luca. Wilma Helmström on a score of 3. That time allowed comes around very, very fast this evening. Now, next up, we see that it is Germany once more. Jana Vargas riding Limbridge by Gareth Slimbus out of a Cambridge 8 mare, this stallion. Jana, who was part of the Nations Cup team in Barcelona this season, finished very well in that Grand Prix. Did a brilliant job in Lyon. Oh, again showing a huge amount of power over the parallels, but really got the height as well. Horse that really does ping off the floor. It's able to use all of its power and elasticity to jump these fences in such a wonderful way. She should just get in on the clock. That is clear for Jana, 72.99. That is a clear round. No trouble. And another clear for Germany. And that time, 72.99, is faster than Felix Weishaupt, Marcus Edding, and Gilles Thomases. So moves her up into the top 5 with that round of jumping. Very impressive on Limbridge. Got a wonderful way of jumping. She rides it, just allows the horse to use its body. Really, the horse has got all of the spring, as I say, and the athletic ability, and she just doesn't interfere, just lets the horse jump. Supported it when it needed it, but really lovely to watch. But still, Vernon Vermeer is leading the way. DM Jack Mott tonight, 69.36. The time is beatable, but is it beatable with a clear? Now for Spain, Sergio Alvarez Moya with Frappant, the 12-year-old gelding by Warrant, for one of the best from Spain. He's won some big Grand Prix in his time. He's certainly played a big part in Spanish jumping. Ooh, now was that the overreach boot? I think it was. Just flicked up in front. It sometimes can cause a little bit of a distraction. Shouldn't cause too many problems. Oh, jumped that line as well as anybody. Now he's coming inside again, and it's not a line too many have taken. It's such a wide stretch going into that line. The force drives down to the plank, but it is a line that's been riding very, very well. And Sergio again just pushing on, but keeping hold of the horse as he gets to the roses. This is quick from Sergio Alvarez Moya. He now, look at that sensible riding. He's brought the horse right back underneath him. Use the fence. Oh! Because he knows how difficult it is, and if the horse is just a little bit too forward, you can get yourself stuck. Well, for the score, and again 67.70, the time is faster than the leader. Spencer Smith did it. Harry Charles did it. Sergio's done it. Francisco's done it. They've all been quicker than that leading time. They've all at some point had a fence down that has ultimately made the difference. So still Belgium on top. Now to Norway, to Vicky Gulliksen, Victoria Gulliksen here with the 8-year-old stallion the Z by Tyson. What a year it has been for this lady. Of course, she really shone at the European Championships in back in 2021 when she finished individually in 9th, well placed into the top 10. That was quite some achievement. And then this year, arriving here at round 5 of the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Series for the Western European League as the leader on the league table. That is some achievement. Comes from consistency. That brilliant result in Oslo. And then she's here, finished second, backed it up in Helsinki, again top 6. And she, the league leader, when we start here on Sunday afternoon. Ooh, and she got away with that. She certainly gave it a little bit of a rattle. This 8-year-old, one if not the youngest horse in this class, and now with that fence down, coming into these final 3 on 4. She's got a lovely rhythm going. She is still going to pick up a time fault, but 74.93 is just the one time fault, total of 5 for Victoria Gulliksen there with Thor Z for Norway. And then there were 9 to go. 30,000 euros worth of prize money in the pot. Tonight in the Masters it will be 100,000 euros, and only 12 will qualify to come back. It is a superb night of sport, and in between the 2 jumping classes, the opening drives from one of the most electric sports in equestrianism. It is the FEI Driving World Cup, the 4 in-hand carriages in the indoor arena and through the water splash. It is certainly great to be back here in Stuttgart on this fabulous Friday. Now, this is the turn of Patrick Stühlmeier. This is Draco de Mouche, the stallion by Canaan that won the Sires of the World competition. It is the sort of World Championship of Sires that happens at the World Breeding Championships in Longines in Belgium in September. And these are the 2 that came out on top that day. Still clear. Round they come to the roses. Big parallel sits on its own. Then you have that curved line that follows it. 6 strides. And then into this line. That single stride of double to the 4 strides that has cost so much. But at the moment, we're 1 fence away from getting another clear round. Where will the clock stop for them? 72.53. What a fabulous jumping stallion that is. And that is going to go right up there. That is into 3rd. 72.53. The best of the German riders is now Patrick Stühlmeier. He had a very good round here the other day with that horse, and he's really loved coming indoors to Stuttgart. Just playing it a little bit sensible. I mean, he's a couple of seconds, what do we say, 3 seconds away from the leading 2, but he's the best of the rest, and that is sensational for Patrick Stühlmeier. Very, very happy with that, I am sure. He's had a really good run lately. Talking of having really good runs, this man is in the form of his life, and he has been for some time. He is the world number 1. He is the world champion. He won the individual gold with King Edward, as well as the team gold at the World Championships in hurdling this year, having won team gold for Sweden in Tokyo at the Olympics last year, and he's certainly once more in great form. And this Glamour Girl, the lovely mare by VDL's Rocco Blue for Henrik von Eckermann. Unique style, that forward body motion, but he turned as tight as anybody, and he made the jump out look easy. Already turning through the air as he lands over the double. He has just come wider, giving her the chance into this 4 strides, careful at the flank. Floating across the ground here in Stuttgart is the world champion. He won last week the World Cup round with his World Championship ride, King Edward in Verona. Now to the final line, and look at this clock. Mesmerizing from Henrik von Eckermann, the world champion, showing just why he is the world's #1. That was absolutely sensational riding. Brilliant stuff from Henrik. And when he is in that sort of form, he is almost unbeatable. I mean, this was brilliant. He just helps her up and over. Such balance, such composure. He's got such an understanding with his horses. Well, Sweden in the lead. Big leap over the last. But is that it? Because 66.28 is not the fastest of the times if you were to ignore those with fences. Which all I'm saying by that is it means it is possible that we could yet see a quicker time. But Henrik von Eckermann, that has certainly piled some pressure on those still to go. And this is another of the big names in the sport, because this is Max Kühne, winner this year of the Monaco Grand Prix, the Monte Carlo Grand Prix on the Longines Global Champions Tour. This ride, Vancouver Dreams, as a 12-year-old mare for the world #17. Arrives here after some good results in Lyon and Riyadh. And this by Valentino. And straight from the off, he'll have got a sense, if not have been able to semi-watch what Henrik has done. Oh, now he's come tight. Will he do it? No, he won't, because he's come too tight. It was that little short step that he put in, and it takes the momentum out. It takes the impulsion out, and that's the point where you can't gamble. And it's really clever horsemanship, fast thinking. We saw it earlier with Olivier Philipparts, and they know there's just no point in asking. You're asking too much, and that they know their horses, and just left it alone. If he turned tight, if the horse had gone on the stride he thought it was going to, hadn't put the short one in, he would have had that forward momentum to be able still to go for the parallel. But with the 2 strides, just unable to. So what a shame. The challenge fading there for Max Kühne here this evening. Still jumping forward. Of course, despite a round not working for any horse or any rider, very quickly can turn it into a little bit of a schooling exercise, a little bit of a sort of learning moment. He's going to signal. He's jumped a few fences, settled things back. He's happy with how the horse is now, but signals to the ground jury, the judges, to say, I will leave it alone, and retires here tonight. Bad luck, Max. So it means Henrik is leading. 66.28 is the challenge that awaits the final 6 horse and rider combinations here in this €30,000 class. We've got riders still to go for Germany, Belgium, France, the USA, and the next to go is for the Swiss. Great to see everybody back here in Stuttgart, the 36th edition of the Stuttgart German Masters here at the Hans-Martin Scheele Hall. And this is the turn of Swiss rider Eduard Schmitz now. Gamin van Nastelrooth is a 10-year-old gelding by Chaco Chaco out of a Toulon mare. Another championship rider, rode at the World Games this year, or the World Championships this year, I should say. Several Nations Cup outings. Second in a big class in New York. Still one of the young rising talents in the Swiss jumping circuit, but already well established in 5-star sport. He's not chasing, but he's jumping, and he's jumping well. He's sort of got that rhythm going from the start, and you often see it. Doesn't want to sort of change the gears, just wants to keep a nice cruise control that is working for him. And if you can do that, then you can get your horse to jump as you need. And just the tightness of the time allowed that has caught him 76.45 is the final time there. So it is a score of 3 for Eduard Schmitz, but that'll still see him into the top 15. He goes into 14th place. Clear round wise, no faults any which way round, 10 of them as it currently stands, led by the world number 1. It is Sweden, Belgium and the Netherlands, the 1, 2, 3. Next to go, it is another chance for Germany. Hugely talented young rider Sophie Hinners, and this is Zipira S, the 11-year-old gelding by Nabat Darev. She looked very good here yesterday. She come fresh back from jumping in Morocco. She was on the German Nations Cup team in Rabat, where she jumped the double clear to help Germany to victory. Pushing on that inside line, jumps out over the plank. Just coming a little bit wide round to this next parallel. Leading time 66.28 into this tricky final line. If she can jump these fences, this crowd are going to cheer loudly. This is a very good round of jumping from a very talented jockey. 68.06. She's got into second place. Sensational. Brilliant performance from Sophie Hinners there, the young German star. What form she is in at the moment. She had a brilliant run down in Rabat, and it has flowed home to Stuttgart. Certainly is a very, very good season for Sophie. So, Henrik von Eckermann leading the way. He is clear by 2 seconds still. Sophie Hinners with a brilliant performance, 68.06 to go ahead of Willem Vermeer, who's 69.36, so a second quicker than the Belgian rider that was leading for quite some time. But on we go. Now it is Belgium once more, and this is Gurum Petit. This is Seiko's Guinness, the 11-year-old gelding. Now what can she do this evening? A naturally quick rider. I say that because whenever you see her go against the clock, if she hasn't gone to plan tonight, I was going to say if it goes to plan, she can be exceptionally fast, but she's just come foul of that second fence. It's a fence I don't think we'd seen fall all evening, but down it goes, which means you're looking to the final 3, who I do not doubt will push Henrik as hard as they can. Still just that second fence, the only penalty so far. Time-wise, she's not really pushed herself as fast as we know she can go. She is just perhaps also going to go over the time allowed. Unfortunately, she does, to pick up a total of 5. So that was no good on Petit, and that was Seiko's Guinness. And nothing changing now, but still Henrik leading from Sophie and Willem. Sweden, Germany, Belgium, the 1, 2, 3. Well, trotting in the first of these final 3, and it is for the United States of America. This is Paris Sellon riding here with Vatusha, or Tusha I should say. This mare, 10 years of age, Bargax de Séguignon, out of a Diamante Sameli mare. Paris, who Jumped very well in the Grand Prix in San Siro Milano to finish in second place this year, as fresh back from jumping down in Spain in Vieja de la Frontera, where she was top 5 in one of the big Grand Prix there as well. Being based over here for the majority of, or when I say over here, I mean in Europe for the majority of this season. Well, brick out of the wall first tonight to have done that. Of course, with the wall, it hasn't been tested, but until then, despite the solid-looking nature of it, it is very, very light material that has made it all built together. Of course, safety on the mind in the design of all of these fences, and therefore, if you touch one of those little copings on top, like Paris did then, it just flitters away. Kept quite a good rhythm up, and the horse had been jumping very well. It is looking like it is just going to be that brick out of the wall, and 71.37 even in with the clock. So 4 faults. Could have seen her, if clear, she would have gone up into the top 5, but that fence goes down and the wall falls for 4 for Paris Selim. And still nothing changing, with now just 2 to go, 1 for Germany and 1 for France. And well, there'll be a huge amount of support for this man. He, of course, from the local region here in Stuttgart, and this really is home soil for Hans-Dieter de Ryer. He qualified for the Masters the last time we were here in 2019. He ended up finishing second behind Martin Fuchs. He'd love to be back in the 12 that go into the big money class here this evening. This is Elysium, 10-year-old gelding by VDL Zorocco Blue. Now they come round to that big white parallel with the roses. It's got a lovely big stride on it. It really has eaten up the ground, but now be careful. Jump the first part, jump the second part. They're not going to be too far away here. This is another very strong round for Germany. Just 3 seconds off the lead, and 69.63. Talk about cool, calm and collected. Hans-Dieter de Ryer goes into the top 5, and that could well push him into the Masters here this evening to battle it out once more. But we've seen some sensational rounds of jumping here tonight. That just came, it never really looked rushed. That's what's really impressed me. He never looked like he was sort of flapping. He never looked untidy. But he and Elysium certainly knew what they were doing. And then there was one to go. Henrik von Eckermann, the world number 1, leads on Glamour Girl, 66.28. The last to go is for France. And this man finished 3rd yesterday in the 2nd of the 5-star classes. It is Marc Dilasseur, who's going to be last out tonight with Riotto de Grez, the 12-year-old gelding by Diabranta Serenelli, for the man from France. He had 2 very good wins in the 5-star classes down in Saint-Tropez last month. Gets nice and tight back to the upright. Oof, very tight, really turning, trying to save a little bit of time in the air, but actually then having to come the long way round back to the parallel, jumping from 7 down to 8. Again, turning as tight as he can. Whether he's on Henrik's pace or not, he is going very, very well here, is Marc de la Serre. He's jumped A, he's jumped B, 66.28 was the leading time, but this is right up there as well, 67.91. He's gone into second place as the last to go for France. Another brilliant round. He was third yesterday, he's second here tonight. Marc de la Serre for France, bravo, monsieur, that was very, very good indeed. So, what a brilliant class this has been. Edge of your seat stuff all the way through, and to think there is an even bigger one, a more valuable one, and only 12 of them are going to be in it tonight. The Stuttgart German Masters, the €100,000 class, to come a little later, and it'll certainly include some big names. We'll get that lineup confirmed, but the order is confirmed for this one. It is the world number one that is number one, the winner with Glamour Girl, Sweden's Henrik von Eckermann. Marc de la Serre for France, the last to go. Rote de Glace finishes in second, and a brilliant performance from German rider Sophie Hinnes to take third on Zepira. Vinny Vermeer led for ages. In the end, he's fourth with DM Jacquemot, Harry Schmolders and Bingo de Park. And then, as you can see, the order below them with fifth for Harry and sixth for Hans Dieter Dreyer. Well, the points that qualify them for the Masters are a combination of their performances from yesterday and again for today. Greater minds than mine will look that up and work that out, and I will make no presumptions. We will see the 12 appear on the start list. I can tell you it is going to be quite something special, because some very, very big named riders and horses are going to be competing for that €100,000 prize. That class tonight, the Masters, will be live with you here on Clip My Horse TV. The first horse in that big money class at 10:15 here this evening, local time, European time. Before that, though, we're going to be off to the races, because it is going to be one of the most exciting and thrilling equestrian sports in the business. The FEI Driving World Cup gets understarters orders here in an hour. The four-in-hand driving teams will be racing through the water and all around this arena, and I hope you'll be able to enjoy that. It is the precursor to the points-paying round tomorrow, the pre-qualifier tonight. 2 rounds of driving. Lots to look forward to. It's a fabulous Friday. This is all still to come, and then we can move and look forward to the weekend too. This is Stuttgart. It's great to be back here at the German Masters.
Produziert ja nun seit mehr als 30 Jahren qualitativ hochwertige Diät- und Ergänzungsfuttermittel für die Pferde von Sport- und Freizeitreitern und bei allen Fragen zur Fütterungspferde ein Top-Partner. Und die Top dieser Starter kommen jetzt noch einmal etwas schüchtern, aber gleich in Gang, vielleicht hier unterwegs. So, bleiben wir ruhig. Ganz cool, dann lassen wir doch den 7. Platzierten vorbei. Meine Damen und Herren, nehmen Sie Platz 8 und Platz 7 gemeinsam in Empfang. Platz 8 für Hot Easy und Johannes Spree. Platz 7 für Draco Nemokre und Patrick Stühlmeier, jeweils Deutschland. Platz 6 längst erkannt, Elysium und Hans-Dieter Dreher, Deutschland. Der 5. Platz, der geht am Bingo die Park und an Harry Smolders, Niederlande. Und Platz 4 für den Jacques Mott und Winter Meyer aus Belgien. Und jetzt kommen die besten 3. Es kommen Sophie Hiners, Marc de la Serre und der Sieger Henrik von Eckermann. Top-Unternehmen der Diät- und Ergänzungsfuttermittelindustrie für die Pferde ihre Partner vorgestellt. Es bedankt sich natürlich auch bei seinem großartigen Engagement über die vielen Jahre hier in Stuttgart bei diesem Weltklasse-Turnier, bei allen Reiterinnen und Reitern mit ihren Top-Pferden und wünscht ihnen alles Gute für die Zukunft und sportliche Erfolge und gratuliert natürlich dem heutigen Siegerpaar und den Platzierten und den Top-Platzierten zu ihren großartigen Leistungen in dieser zugleich auch Qualifikationsprüfung zum Stuttgart German Master heute Abend noch. Und der Sieg geht mit einem fehlerfreien Ergebnis in 66,28 Sekunden an Glamour Girl und Henrik von Eckermann, Schweden. Glückwunsch! Matthias Meyer, Geschäftsführer im Hause I-West, gratuliert dem Sieger und den Top-Platzierten, begleitet von Herrn Andreas Krieg, Mitglied der Turnierleitung, und Herr Bruno Lauscher, Mitglied der internationalen Jury dieses Springers. Das Pferd eingehüllt in der Siegerdecke. Es gibt Champagner, Aperol-Gläser, 3 Kilogramm Magnolyte und 2 Kilogramm Kollagen für das siegreiche Pferd und natürlich auch den Reiter. Und es gibt nochmal den Stuttgarter Applaus für die Nummer 1, auch in diesem Springen, Henrik von Eckermann. Platz 2 geht mit fehlerfreiem Ergebnis in 67,91 Sekunden an den 68,06 Sekunden. Ein toller dritter Platz für Cypria S. und Sophie Hinners, Deutschland. Und auch hier gibt es als Ehrenpreise Champagner, Longines, 3 Kilogramm Magnolito und 2 Kilogramm Kollagen aus dem Hause West. So, und während das Ehrenkomitee sich zurückzieht, lieber Hendrik, Marc und Sophie, einmal umdrehen. Turn to the other side, to the grandstands, denn auch hier sitzen eure Weltklasse-Fans in Stuttgart. Dankeschön und bitte wieder zurück. Und meine Damen und Herren, freuen wir uns auf die Ehrenrunde. Preis der Firma West.